My name is Abraham Hunter. I'm an oil painter, at least that's what I tell myself. And I currently live in East Tennessee, and I'm here today to help promote the cause of Shawnee National Forest becoming America's next national park.
Okay.
That is our hope and prayer.
Okay. Where are you originally from?
Originally from, well, I lived in a lot of places, but I grew up in Dongola, Vienna, Goreville, lived in Texas for a little while, lived in South Carolina for a little while.
But
Now I
your
live in
connection
Tennessee.
to Southern Illinois is Vienna, Dongola, Goreville?
Yes, those three towns, yes, primarily.
Got it. Just tell us a little bit about how you came to art, how you got into art, like give us a little bit of a background about yourself.
Okay. I cannot remember a time where I wasn't drawing something. It was my way of escaping the world, and I was always drawing something, making up stories, and whenever I was a really young child, I would do historical scenes with animals in them instead of people, because I wasn't quite confident enough to pull off faces yet. I kind of play with all mediums, but the main love I have is oil painting. Yeah, it's what I do just about every day.
Yeah. Are you a full-time artist?
Yes.
You're a full-time artist. About how many paintings do you do like on a monthly basis?
A monthly basis, depending on size actually, because if it's a really huge painting, it could take me a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I shoot for about 10 paintings a month.
Okay. Wow.
But that's not always met.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more than that, though.
Yeah.
You know, so if I have a lot of little bitty small paintings, I do a lot of plein air painting, which is where you take your paints, go set up, and you get one done in 3-4 hours. And you come back to the studio, and for some reason, you move at a snail's pace. You get back to the studio, maybe you've got a problem getting caught in too much detail, or something like that happens, and then you slow down. It could also be that you just want longer to explore the subject. I don't know.
Yeah.
These, like for instance, this one took weeks from beginning to end, a couple weeks.
Yeah. Now, do you work on a lot of commission pieces, or are you?
I currently don't do any. I used to because folks would kind of get frustrated with the wait, because I had so many other fulfillments to meet.
Give me a little bit of an idea about your process. Like, we just want to hear more about your creating, the art you're creating. So
Sure.
Just give me your process.
I used to rely very heavily on photos, and the pro to that is you get a big visual vocabulary. The con to that is it might be harder for you to come out. So I made the switch a few years ago to trying to work more from my imagination. I think some people liked the hyper-realistic stuff a little bit better. I personally prefer the more impressionistic work. It's up to taste. But what I try to do is really imagine a scene. Best mental image I can get of it. And it's not super clear, but the best mental image I can get of it. And then I dive in. And I'll start with a tonal wash first, and then I'll go in and do the linear aspects of the painting. If I need a line to show where a tree's supposed to be, an animal's supposed to be moving, or something like that, that's when I'll start drawing it. I draw with paint a lot of times, but I also will use a pencil or something like that. It depends on the project. Yeah. And also, I don't want to get stuck into the same routine too much, because I might get bored, and I don't want to run that risk. So what I'll do is vary my process just a little bit, leave a little experimentation for every painting, just in case you discover something. And it happens almost every day. I learn something new, almost every day. And so that's kind of my working process. As far as photos and inspiration, things like that, I do get out with my camera as much as I can. I get out and sketch, I get out and plein air paint. I try to develop a mental vocabulary, and I think next year makes 20 years that I've been painting.
Oh, wow.
So it's a numbers game. Eventually you'll just get more ideas of what blades of grass look like in your back of your mind.
Yeah. You still use some photo references.
I do.
Just
yeah.
as a reference, but not as a...
Maybe someday I'll be able to move away from them altogether, but for right now, if there's somewhere, like Last time I used photo reference was I was unsure about the iridescent colors of a certain species of duck's head.
Oh, wow.
And I was going to screw that up because I didn't remember it. So, yeah, you know, photos give you a ton of information, more information than you really need probably, but they give you a ton of information, and that way you can check your work, make sure you didn't make any glaring mistakes. And other times, if you've been somewhere, like supposing you go to, you know, overlook at a national park and it looks perfect as is, take a photo, paint it. You know, there's no rules. Have fun with it. Yeah.
Did you go to school, or are you completely self-taught?
I'm self-taught. And I've always been not a little, a lot shy about that. So the way I adjust for it is I read art books every day.
Yeah.
Instructional.
Self-taught is still something to be proud of.
Watch as many videos as I can, but I gain the most from books. I have too many art books.
Okay, so tell me about the duck stamp that you won when you were a kid.
That started whenever I was 13. I started entering that one, and then I won state level for Illinois State Duck Stamp whenever I was 14. And I did the Illinois State Duck Stamp for 2008, 2009, 2010.
Oh, wow.
But in 2011, I won the Federal Junior Duck Stamp. And the Federal Duck Stamp, from folks not familiar with it, you can buy a duck stamp as your pass to the the wildlife refuges, national wildlife refuges. But the duck stamp has raised millions upon millions of dollars for restoring wetlands for waterfowl. And I love ducks, so it was a great fit. So the Federal Junior Duck Stamp is for folks that design the stamp for artists 18 and under, and then there's a senior level for folks 19 and older. And I won that one. Still trying to win the adult one, but I haven't entered it every year. If I entered it every year, it could increase my chances. But whenever you get to see that the government used your painting to raise all this money for wetlands conservation, and then you drive past the wildlife refuge and you see a lake full of ducks, it is something you definitely want to be a part of, you know. So that's the way I feel about contests. They can be fun, but at the end of the day, it's a lottery amongst 100 great artists.
True. So you really do have a connection with the national forests and the refuges and wetlands. And
yeah, if I would have been an artist, I don't think I would have had the same start if it wasn't for the Shawnee National Forest. Because you need space for your creativity, your imagination, your being. We need wilderness. We need areas to breathe. We've got to get away from the noise and be ourselves for a minute. And nature just did that for me on its own. And I didn't even understand it the whole time. I would just feel better in the woods, and it was naturally what I wanted to do. And it turned into a great career. And one of the reasons I'm so passionate about this is think about all of the other young people out there that are trying to find themselves at 13, 14 years old, and maybe they didn't get a watercolor set. So it's very important.
Okay, so just tell me what you got coming up for you in the next month or so.
Lots of paintings. And I'll try to get out and about in April at my galleries in East Tennessee, and then in June at my gallery in South Carolina. Okay. That's my immediate plans. Probably will open up more. Finding that the more I'm out and about around people, the happier I am.
Yeah, true.
Art can be a lonely job. You got to get out there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today.
I'm honored. Thank you for wanting to talk to me.